Therefore, I would really request the Secretariat to scrutinize these statements. We shall make a resolution in the Liaison Committee next week, but the Secretariat kindly give us the right statements for the Senate, which as per our standing orders. And members, nobody should push the Secretariat to the corner with the statements that are supposed to be handled by our county assemblies. This is a serious matter, and I want to give three senators the opportunity also to ventilate on this important matter. Because the committee, I am imagining that a committee will at one day summon a governor to come to the Senate committee to answer questions on a certain toilet in a corner of the town and another one. So I think we shouldn't be a bit, we handle our business in a light way. Senator Ososi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with you that I think we have to review the whole idea about the statements, because some of the statements that are given in this House are things that you can even just pick a call and call particular people and you get answers. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, the issue of statements is affecting the quorum in this House, Mr. Speaker, because some members here, and I don't want to mention names, they understand that once they have made the statement and they have gotten the clip, they have done their job for the day, and then they go. Then they leave some of us sitting here until 6:30. So I'm even suggesting, Mr. Speaker, can we amend the order paper so that statements come to the end, so that the people sit in this House and transact serious business? You find a member has like 5 statements. He comes here, reads those statements, gets the clip, sends it to the county, and he has done his job. And then he leaves us here, sitting here, with no quorum to process important business in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, don't just look at the quality of statements. Also look at the effect it has on quorum in this House and performance. So I am proposing, Mr. Speaker, if possible, these statements should come at the end, so that people sit in this House and transact all the important business before they get their clips to send to their various constituencies.
I think the message is home. The message is home. I've said the Liaison Committee will make its determination. The SBC also will be able also to see how we can be able even to amend the way you have put it on the paper. Yes. The Senator for Nairobi. This is an in-house thing, so I don't think we can open to much debate. It's an in-house thing. Sorry? Maybe I'll give a few senators to contribute or make comments on the statements, starting with more fire. Gataya Mwenda.
I want to, from the onset, before I comment on the statement by my good friend Senator Mtata on the state of Kenyatta University, Honorable Speaker, allow me to make some few comments on an incident that took place in my constituency, in my county last night. Honorable Speaker, I wish to extend my heartfelt sympathies to the Tharaka Nithi University community following the unfortunate fire tragedy that occurred last night, where property of unknown value was destroyed in Tharaka University. Tharaka University is one of the prestigious institutions of higher learning that we have currently in Tharaka Nithi County. And my thoughts are with the students, staff, and families affected by this devastating incident. And I strongly urge the relevant authorities to investigate the cause of the fire and take necessary measures to prevent such incidents in the future. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Senator Mtata for bringing a statement on the state of the Kenyatta University. Kenyatta University, Mr. Speaker, is a public pride. And no entity can afford to ignore Kenyatta University. It's a referral hospital. And Honorable Speaker, I think this is a time that as a country, we are supposed to be very serious on how we handle our health institutions. That is the only public utility, Honorable Speaker, that Kenyans can be proud of. So I think the relevant committee, the Committee on Health, should please make sure that whatever Senator Mtata has just brought on board should be followed strictly to make sure that Kenyatta regains and its pride as a national institution for this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna Edwin.
No, Speaker, I just yield my time to another colleague because what I wanted to share was best practices. When I visited the House of Lords, there's a rule there that you cannot comment on something or participate in debate when you are not there when the debate started. So I'll just yield my time.
Senator Ososo, I thought you made your comment. I can see your... And Honorable Senators, you have exactly 18 minutes to stop, to conclude all statements.
Mr. Speaker, that...
So 2 minutes each member.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to comment on the statement by Senator Mtata regarding KNH, Kenyatta National Hospital. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Kenyatta National Hospital is a serious issue. And I would request that the Committee for Health takes it very seriously. But even as we talk about challenges of Kenyatta National Hospital, we must not lose sight of the fact that part of the problem is interference from the national government, particularly Ministry of Health. Mr. Speaker, you saw recently the changes at KNH. Mr. Lesiambe, who was doing a good job in Kisumu, he had really improved the Jaramogi Odinga Hospital in Kisumu. Then he's being taken back to KNH without the board approval. The minister just makes a decision and it is done. While we had other qualified people in that hospital who could become CEOs of the hospital. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because I know there were 2 individuals in that hospital who hail from my county, who are in a better position to become CEOs of Kenyatta National Hospital, but they were denied because the minister had preference to get other people. That is where the source of the problem is. Because if you don't have succession planning in any organization, then staff are demoralized. You bring people from outside, they are undermined internally, and they will never perform. So as we talk about the inefficiencies at Kenyatta National Hospital, we must also talk about interference by the Ministry of Health, particularly the Cabinet Secretary for Health. Mr. Speaker.
Also, the issue could have declared your interest before you mentioned.
I have said
your people you are robbing for.
I represent the people of Vihiga, and I know for sure there are 2, 1 senior doctor and 1 senior administrator at KNH who are primed to become CEOs of Kenyatta National Hospital, but they were overlooked because of political consideration and tribal consideration. Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Let us hear from the Vice Chair Health, Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Speaker. I also support the statement. I wanted to comment on the statement read by Senator from Busia County, Mr. Speaker, about KNH. Mr. Speaker, a healthy country is a wealthy country, Mr. Speaker. In the statement of Senator Busia, he was talking of crowdness of patients. and shortage of beds, Mr. Speaker. That raised by, to my opinion, that the nearby counties, there's a poor facilities, poor service delivery on the facilities of health, Mr. Speaker. Because in health committee, we went to almost 20 counties to verify, Mr. Speaker. We realized that overcrowding was normally brought about by the neighboring counties which are not serious with their health care, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, health is devolved, and the county must take initiative of taking care of the health facility, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I also comment on the statement raised by Tarath Kanithi, Senator, Mr. Speaker, about the land, about situation has been further, about the fake title deeds, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I encourage, and also,
Senator Mariam, you remember we said 2 minutes so that I can give at least 4 senators the opportunity to make their comments. I think there is a problem with the gadgets on my left-hand side. So yes, Senator Manzo, Danson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on Senator Mutata's comment on Kenyatta National Hospital. Mr. Speaker, if we may get the facts right, as much as Kenyatta National Hospital has had a lot of problems, it has also helped a lot of people during emergency, Mr. Speaker. This happened during the demonstrations. And if I get it right about the CEO who has recently been appointed, he was appointed to act, Mr. Speaker. He has not yet been confirmed, and I think the CS Health acted as a matter of necessity following certain complaints. And Lesiembe, who is very familiar with that hospital and who did a very good job when he was there, is back to the hospital. But Mr. Speaker, it's always not good to crush what an institution is doing. Mr. Speaker, I want to finalize with what happened recently with an accident, and a young lady fell off a motorbike which had an accident. The rider of the motorbike died. The young lady was picked, who happened to be a daughter of my primary school classmate. They rang me. I advised them to rush to Kenyatta. She had a head injury. She's now been taken care of and has recovered well. So the hospital also has good stories to tell, but I do agree with the Senator Mutata that everything should be done to make sure that it is the most efficient hospital in the country, because hospitals first deal with saving life, especially in emergency situation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mudigi Alexander.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala unaendelea mambo ya hospitali ya Kenyatta, kwa sababu mambo ya afya ni kitu muhimu katika binadamu. Na vile naweza kusema Bwana Spika, ni ile mambo inafanyika kwa ile hospitali, kwa sababu ile mijengo ni ya zamani, lakini tukiangalia unakuta kuna uchafu, hakuna rangi imepakwa, mapati ni ile imeharibika. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, ningeomba ile management iko pale iweze kuangalia, na saa nyingine tunaweza Bwana Spika kulamika juu ya management, lakini iende ikawa either ile wizara ya afya iko na shinda na management, ama serikali yenyewe wilaya ya fedha haipeani pesa kulingana ile inafaa. Ndio unakuta madaktari wanalipwa mapema, na pia watu wanaitwa health promoters wanasaidia juu ya usafi na ile kitu kingine. Bwana Spika, ile kitu ingesaidia, kwa sababu naona katika Kenya watu waendelea kuwa wengi. Ningeomba, kwa sababu mambo ya afya iko katika devolution, unakuta tuko county 47, unakuta hospitali ambaye ziko kule mashinani kama Embu level 5, unakuta ile hospitali inapatiwa machini ya kutosha, inapatiwa pesa ya kutosha, madaktari walipo vile nafaa. Unakuta kama juzi, unakuta health promoters watu wengine walikaa kama miezi 3 miezi 4, kwa sababu wizara ya fedha inakalisha pesa, unakuta watu wapati pesa. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, wakati hospitali itaangaliwa ile mko mashinani, kila county ipatiwe pesa ya kutosha, mashini ya kutosha, na kuwe na watu wa kuelimisha ati ukienda hospitali ya county utahudumiwa kama ile county hospitali iko national national government, watu wakati watapungua na watu wataundiwa kulingana vile njia inafaa. Pia mambo ya afya iwe hakuna mtu anafaa kulipisha chochote. Kwa hivyo watu wa budget mpaka watu afya ya county na national government ipeane pesa ya kutosha, ndio kuwe kama mambo ya afya binadamu tuwe kama.
Senator Lendama Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there's no doubt that there has been significant progress with the management of Kenyatta National Hospital. Since the new management has been put in place, we know very well that there is a gentleman called Esiambe who has even increased the number of surgical beds to 10. And he continues to make progress with service delivery. You know, when you have the largest referral hospital in East Africa, you'll expect a few major problems here and there. But I think what we need to do is to have confidence in our Kenyans. This young Kenyan has been given an opportunity to transform that hospital. So instead of lamenting, the best we can do is to make sure that the national government channels more resources to that hospital, improve on all service delivery. If you've been having a lot of systemic problems, when you bring in a new management, you give them time so that they can be able to go dig deep inside the issues that are affecting the hospital. So the statement by Senator Mtata is good, but it is also important to be able to recognize that there has been a change of shift. There's a new management now. Let us give them an opportunity. Let us support the new management of Kenyatta National Hospital so that we can be able to have some progress. If we are talking about healthcare in general, there are significant problems. In the last 2 years, we have new laws now governing healthcare in this country. There are so many challenges in the SHIF and SHA. You know, so you cannot expect everything to move smoothly. So let's give an opportunity to the new management, and I assure you, we will not be complaining here. We will be actually measuring. I wish you can actually measure where KNH was last year and where it is now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Matinga Wahome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was almost sure you're calling my name as next. Mr. Speaker, as I stand up, I want to start with a note that we as Kenyans must learn to develop operation standards and manuals so that it becomes not pegged on the individual. I want to say this, Mr. Speaker. Lesiampe, I know him as a good performer, but Mr. Speaker, it is paramount and imperative that we Kenyans divorce our thinking from names and tribes. So long as we have standard operation procedures, Mr. Speaker, then it does not matter who's leading an organization because we know what is to be expected. Mr. Speaker, I'm persuaded to believe, and I want to persuade my colleagues to believe, that it does not depend on which ethnic background you come from for you to be able to deliver. This country, Mr. Speaker, for so long, we've held ourselves hostage to this tribal inclination, and therefore, I would want to say it is the time, now the high time, that we look at a country like it can be read by anybody, and the only thing that we need to do is to put up structures in place, to put operating manuals and procedures in place, so that no matter who takes leadership knows this is the minimum expected. To wind up, Mr. Speaker, I know the performance of this gentleman. I've seen the change. The challenges that this country is facing in the health sector needs somebody who's bold enough to make decisions. And I'll say that this Siampe is doing the right thing. Let's encourage him. Let us contribute towards bettering our services instead of rewriting the book of lamentation, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, moving forward, even in the national arena, we must divorce ourselves from this tribal inclination that has continued to hold this country hostage for the last 62 years. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Senator Ezena Remaletian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise to comment on the statement by Senator Okia Omtata, the able senator for Busia. Mr. Speaker, while we need to oversight all public institutions, hospitals included, it is imperative to note that the challenges that are affecting Kenyatta National Hospital are affecting every other hospital across the country. And it is for that reason that we have seen reshuffle happening across our hospitals. I want to contradict the statement made by my deputy party leader, unfortunately, pointing fingers at Dr. Richard Lesiampe. Dr. Richard Lesiampe, Honorable Speaker, has been a person of integrity, has served this country in so many capacities, and is one statesman that I know is very capable in our country. We have seen the progress he has made with the Jaramogi Oginga Hospital. I have no doubt, Mr. Speaker, yes.
Just a minute, there is a point of order from Senator Lele Steve.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on a point of order, when I go through the statement by Senator Mutata, the contents of that statement does not go well with what most senators have discussed on that statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've heard Senator Osotsi, Senator Omatinga, Senator Ledama, and Senator Esena discussing the qualifications of one Dr. Richard Lesiampe, which I think is not part of the statement. And I think we should not bring this issue, and on a point of relevance, we should not be discussing someone unless you bring a substantive motion. And I request, Mr. Speaker, for any other senator who may wish to contribute on this statement to go on the matter being raised by Senator Mutata and not bring the name of one qualified Dr. Richard Lesiampe into a statement that does not concern this statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Very well. Proceed and finish.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And like I was saying, that we have seen very significant improvement in the Jaramogi Oginga Referral Hospital when there is an able head or an operational head, because we know, Mr. Speaker, that a fish rots from the head. When we have an able person taking the mantle of leadership in a crucial institution that is as far as a hospital, we have seen significant improvement. And it is for that reason that I am also personally very much against the naming of Dr. Richard Lesiampe in this matter. Mr. Speaker, as senators, we need to be to shun from tribal inclinations, especially when we are leaders, and leaders who are
coming to the close of this. You spoke so well. Give out 15 seconds to say goodbye.
Mr. Speaker, I am very proud as a minority in this country that I see some of our institutions like the KNH headed by a minority. I have no doubt he is going to work so hard to make sure that he has proven that indeed a son of the Samburu, a son of a small community, can equally deliver just like anybody else. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next is Senator Chalage Samson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to the statement by the Labour Committee. Mr. Speaker, I would have expected them to touch something on Micron, Mr. Speaker, because one Felix Limo that comes from Kosirai Ward in Nandi County, he died in Qatar, and it took a lot of interventions for his body to be repatriated. So I don't know what the Labour Committee, and I hope the minority leader still sits there to tell us what is happening with migrant workers, especially in the Middle East. Mr. Speaker, and secondly, because I have seen in their report, even on this issue of domestic workers, even locally, Mr. Speaker, I think a day or two, a Mamafua by the name called Saitun Kavaya, who lives in Kibra, was killed mysteriously in Kilimani. Yet no one has been arrested to that fact, Mr. Speaker. I appeal that the Ministry of Labour should look into issues of domestic workers. Maids and domestic workers are very important, especially if you are a bachelor in this Nairobi and you don't have a number of Mamafua.
you are living badly in this city. And they form a very serious ecosystem because this Mama Fua, Mr. Speaker, they'll come to your house, clean your clothes, prepare the food for the entire week. And therefore, when I saw how Mama Fua Saitun Kavaya was killed, I hope the DCI should follow up, and no one should kill domestic workers. We need to be harsh on anybody who kills domestic workers, both locally and internationally, Mr. Speaker, especially in Qatar. Mr. Speaker, secondly and finally on councillors, Mr. Speaker, is we need to finalize. We invited the CS Mbadi. He didn't tell us when is he paying the councillors. The councillors serve this country, and there are more than 12,000. Some of them are still surviving, some of them are sick. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the Labour Committee to come up with a legal framework to cure the issue of one payment to the councillors. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to thank you, because yesterday I saw you hosted former...
Yes, that's the chair's honor.
Mr. Speaker, I want to celebrate you and thank you that you are providing leadership in Meru by bringing even nemesis, political nemesis like former Senator Linturi. And I'm happy he has abandoned Wamunyoro and is now joining the government courtesy of you, and we are proud of what you are doing as the Deputy Speaker. And we didn't make the wrong choice as the Deputy Speaker because you are one of our members, premier members of UDA, Mr. Speaker, and we will continue supporting you, Mr. Speaker, in Meru.
Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to Senator Omtata's statement regarding the state of Kenyatta National Hospital. Honorable Speaker, would you kindly ask Cherargei and team to listen in? I don't know why he always disrupts after we've listened to him. Can I?
No.
Yes, you are actually...
You're almost now provoking the chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Because you are happy when members listen to you carefully. But when others are contributing, raising the issues, you now start making noise.
Thank you, Chair, and I hope my time has been said. Honorable Chair, the issue of Kenyatta National Hospital is a good statement, but I would want to request that 13 years into devolution, what the Senate should be doing is to help strengthen the intergovernmental relations around the health sector, to help align the Nairobi County Health Function implementation and the national government implementation of referral services in Kenyatta National Hospital, so that we relieve Kenyatta National Hospital of the services that actually should be carried out by the county governments. Kenyatta National Hospital is burdened by carrying out all functions from level 1 to level 6. The Senate has done nothing around this. The Senate committees should also start scrutinizing the budget lines of parastatals like Kenyatta National Hospital in order for us to be able to find out whether they deploy any services, any funds towards the cleanliness, towards maintenance, towards repairs, because what we are seeing in social media in terms of the state of Kenyatta National Hospital suggests that we don't have the deployment of any monies towards maintenance, towards cleanliness, towards such like issues. So my suggestion is, instead of just a general scrutiny, we would want to find out how does Kenyatta National Hospital carry out its functions. Honorable Speaker, this is actually what we call the human rights approach to service delivery. The human rights approach to service delivery means...
Senator Catherine, 1 minute to conclude.
We can actually, in order to deliver good services to patients, all aspects have to be looked into. And that is what this committee needs to do, rather than just focus on a personality somewhere or on the generalities of it, including sifting out the functional assignment so that the functions for counties are actually ceded to the county, and Kenyatta National Hospital is left to focus on the referral services so that it can deliver as best as it's able to with the equipment required to deliver the top-notch level 6 services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Last but not the least, Senator Nyamu Karen Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I can't see you on my screen, Senator Duro. Proceed. I'll give
I want
you
to contribute
also
to
2 minutes.
the statement brought by Okiya Omtata on the Kenyatta National Hospital. Mr. Speaker, Kenyatta Hospital is the largest referral hospital in East Africa, and it cannot fail on the basics. Simple hygiene, working lifts, ventilation. I have been to Kenyatta Hospital myself, and I have seen patients waiting on benches and on the floor for hours. We have to give our patients dignity, Mr. Speaker. And 2 murders in a span of 6 months inside the wards raises serious questions on the security systems in that hospital, Mr. Speaker. We have to have accountability because we are pumping billions in that hospital every year. Where is accountability? We have to expand the wards to ease out congestion. We have to invest in the dignity of our people, Mr. Speaker. At the same time, despite the challenges, Kenyatta remains a symbol of hope for all Kenyans who cannot access private medical care. We have seen them performing miracles within the meager resources that they have. And historical, what you call it, surgeries that give hope to the people who cannot afford the very expensive medical care. And in that, we have to not just complain, as my colleagues have said, we have to invest and make sure what we are pumping there is accountability. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Duro, Fatuma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to join my colleagues in supporting this particular statement. Mr. Speaker, over the years, we have never gotten correct or right as far as healthcare services is concerned in this particular country. Mr. Speaker, the statement by Senator Omtata is very clear. It's talking about the challenges Kenyatta Hospital is facing. I know we all rush when we mention institution about individuals. Dr. Lesiembe is a personal friend to me, I've known him over 10 years, or even 20 years, if I'm not wrong. And he has nothing that could be called against him. Mr. Speaker, the budget that is allocated to Kenyatta National Hospital does not actually provide proper service delivery. If you look at the equipments actually provided at Kenyatta National Hospital, they are very old equipments that sometimes they break down. Mr. Speaker, Kenyatta National Hospital, I remember one time I used to work with Ministry of Health where they said they are going to decentralize KNH to all the provincial headquarters. And if that actually a proposal worked, we should not have had long queues at KNH, but we'll have serious cases referrals at the National Hospital. Mr. Speaker, my time is running out. What we need at KNH is serious look into it and ensure that it's one of the best hospitals in this country that can provide services to our Kenyans.
Please give her some 30 seconds to finish.
Madam Speaker, we need to look into how we can give better service deliveries at KNH. The problem is there, but we cannot run away from it. Can we look into it and ensure that we have allocated enough budget to take care of services at KNH? And ensure that we have also decentralized some of the services that are provided at Kenyatta National Hospital. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the county government's cash disbursement schedule for financial year 2025-2026. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, afternoon sitting.
Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bispika. Bispika, cha kwanza ningependa kusema kwamba hospitali inayotegemewa sana katika nchi yetu ya Kenya ni hospitali ya Kenyatta National Hospital. Ni hospitali ambayo ina matumaini mengi sana kwa wakazi wa Kenya. Bispika, ni jambo la kusikitisha hivi sasa tukiona hospitali hiyo ikianza kuzorota. Juzi tulisikia kwamba mgonjwa ambaye alikuwa ameletwa ndani ya hospitali aliweza kupatikana amekufa na kuchinjwa kabisa kama kuku, ya kumaanisha kwamba hata security ama usalama wa wale wanaokwenda kule kama wagonjwa hakuna. Speaker, hilo ni mojawapo tu ya katika zile kesi ambazo zinahusikana na mambo ya Kenyatta National Hospital. Hiyo ni hospitali moja kubwa ambayo inatumikia hata nchi zingine za karibu, pengine kama Tanzania ama Ethiopia ama wapi, kote huko kunategemea hospitali hii. Speaker,
Senator Mazayo,
yes.
Would you kindly allow me to guide you? We have actually moved on to the next order, and we are on the schedule. And I was expecting that you are speaking on the schedule.
Madam Speaker, I accept that with tremendous respect.
Yeah.
But I had approached you and told you I had pressed on my can. But unfortunately, this line is not working. And I requested that I be given some 2 minutes to contribute the same like all other colleagues have done. And that's why I took up the opportunity to come to you.
I think that
and you said
there was
okay.
a misunderstanding. Can you then finalize?
Okay.
Then we can move on to the next order.
Then allow me to stop there then.
No, finalize whatever you were saying, then we will move to the next order again. We will call it afresh.
As a good lawyer, I was thinking of respecting instructions. So,
yes, I'm cognizant of the fact that it was a miscommunication.
Okay.
So just finalize and then we will call the next order.
Kwa hiyo Speaker, kuna umuhimu wa kwamba ikifika saa ya uongozi katika hospitali hii tusiweze kuweka makabila yetu ndani. Tuangalie ni nani ambaye ana uwezo, ana taaluma ya kutosha ya kuweza kuongoza hospitali kama hii. Asante Speaker.
Next order. I want it recalled because of the disorganization of the order, please.
Order number 8, motion, report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the county government's cash disbursement schedule for financial year 2025-2026. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, afternoon sitting.
Senator Mofaya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yesterday I captured quite a number of my fellow senators' debate on this arrangement of disbursement of funds to counties. But Madam Speaker, it is very sad that we have been allowed now close to 3 years, and we have witnessed some very serious disconnect between the check and the counties. Madam Speaker, we are talking about now 3 months, where counties have gone without the intended allocations. People have gone without salaries. I don't know how one would explain a situation where all the way from June up to July, this is August, September, we are going towards October. People have gone without salaries, especially the county staff. Madam Speaker, counties are borrowed. And you know, once you borrow from banks, once you pay with a lot of interest. I think as a House, Madam Speaker, we need to have a conversation around this arrangement. Because, Madam Speaker, that spirit of devolution is being diluted every other day. Because, Madam Speaker, we need to have an express dispensation on the timely disbursement of funds to counties. Actually, Madam Speaker, I think that is the reason why most of the governors would even want to claim that that is the genesis of quite a number of pending bills that we are witnessing. Because, you know, by virtue of having no funds in county doesn't stop the services. Yeah, we have those recurrent expenses that are being incurred almost every day. We have vehicles getting fueled. We have so many other miscellaneous activities that are taking place, and I'm very sure some of these activities are current under the arrangement of we are going to get money. So I think, Madam Speaker, we must get very clear arrangements on how we are supposed to make this disbursement effective. I don't know for what reasons. I think I quoted one of my good friends talk of a visit to Morocco, where we have efficient, very timely disbursement of funds to relevant counties, where you don't have even to engage the national government. I don't know what is the role of government in the whole exercise. No, we have those very independent institutions which are supposed now to make sure that counties get their money timely so they can run the services that are intended to be run. And we expect maybe, Madam Speaker, once these funds are disbursed to counties, we expect the governors to be intelligent enough in making sure that money is put into proper use, so that the very essence of devolution is being realized. So, Madam Speaker, I strongly support that we pass this schedule so that maybe our counties can enjoy. But of course, Madam Speaker, it's very sad. For the last almost 3 months now, people have gone without salaries. People are servicing their loans, some are servicing their school fees. And it's very pathetic, Madam Speaker, that we have to experience this kind of situation year out, year in. I support Madam Speaker.
Senator Oyomo.
Madam Speaker, from the word go, I want to declare that I support the report on the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, counties are distinct governments. It is unfortunate that throughout the period of financial year, we are here always lamenting about disbursements. And Madam Speaker, to me, it is like the counties are on the receiving end when it comes to disbursement. And yet, the law is very clear, Madam Speaker, that there's a timeline that is stated by the 15th of each month. County governments, which are distinct governments, as enshrined in the law, the constitution of this country, must receive their funds. Madam Speaker, the reason that is always given is that these funds are not available. But something else that comes out very badly, Madam Speaker, is that at the end of the financial year, the county governments are given funds at a go. And yet, there's hardly time to spend these funds. Then somebody erroneously
makes comments that county governments are supposed to be ready to use these funds. Madam Speaker, even the procurement plans that the counties have are drawn with the knowledge that funds will be disbursed at their rightful times. Madam Speaker, having said that county governments are distinct, it is important to note that we need timely disbursement, and not only timely, but as the report says, the disbursement of these funds must be stable and be predictable. Madam Speaker, predictability ensures that these funds are planned for. And some wise people said, and I believe them, and I know I'm one of them, that when you plan, when you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Madam Speaker, the counties have various services that must be offered to our people at the counties. Key amongst them is the services of health. Just this afternoon, I've been here as these outstanding members of the Senate discuss the issue of Kenyatta National Hospital. And it is because health is key to all of us, Madam Speaker. For the counties to provide the services that are devolved to them, like health, which is a basic to our people, it means funds must be disbursed to them in time. We do not want a situation where when a schedule is already drawn out and approved, Madam Speaker, then we are treated to cases of counties lining up at the Comptroller of Budget's office or at Treasury. Madam Speaker, we have met the Comptroller of Budget several times as a Senate. I remember the last time the Comptroller of Budget was making a presentation while we were at Naivasha in a retreat. And the Comptroller of Budget continuously denied the fact that county officers always line up in her office in the process of approvals for disbursement. Madam Speaker, this is a truth, that there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. And yet what baffles me, Madam Speaker, is that the Comptroller of Budget's office also has devolved officers at the counties. So one wonders why, what kind of work this devolved officer of the Comptroller of Budget, referred to as the county office of the Comptroller of Budget, does with the county government throughout the month. Because all they should be looking at is to ensure that the documentation is done at the county and officers do not need to spend all the time at the Comptroller of Budget's office, at the office of the Comptroller of Budget, going back and forth to the counties in the name of going back to get certain documentation. And this is a reality, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is that the countries must have a seamless process of getting funds that are due to them having been approved by the Parliament. Madam Speaker, there are several services that we are expecting the counties to offer in time, efficiently and effectively. I've mentioned health, Madam Speaker. Our people need to get drugs in hostels. Madam Speaker, it pains me when I'm in the village and you have women carrying sick children, or even women sick, and even men, Madam Speaker. When they are sick and they go to hospitals, and then they miss drugs in the names that funds have not been disbursed to counties. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that sickness comes at any time. Our people cannot only wait to be sick when their funds have been disbursed. And so that is an aspect of planning that must be done well. Madam Speaker, we want to see our people having water, as provided by the county government, as enshrined in the law. We want to have our people getting various services, access roads being done as given in the devolved functions. And Madam Speaker, even in agriculture, I'm a farmer, Madam Speaker, although a small time, but I'm looking forward to getting to big time. And I see the way farming is also expensive. We want our farmers getting services. We want our farmers getting the right seeds. We want our farmers getting the right extension services, advice from the county government, because agriculture is devolved, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I support this report, and we look forward to a time when the issue of funds not in counties will be a thing of the past. Madam Speaker, you often hear from our counties in the national news about workers that have not been paid for months. We also want to ask our counties, our county governments, that they must do good planning, that they know already the number of employees they have, they know the required amounts that they will be paid in the course of the years. And so this story of workers, people going without pay, is not a good story, Madam Speaker, because these are people who have worked for their governments. These are people who have families, Madam Speaker. These are people who have a number of responsibilities that their families look up to them to perform. So, Madam Speaker, I support this, and I want to say that Treasury must adhere to the constitutional requirements as enshrined in the Constitution as per disbursement of monies to county, and the Treasury must also ensure that they do not keep monies up to the last minute when the financial year is ending, because we do want money spent well, and we do not want to have any reasons for the county governments to get into any improper ways of spending public funds. Madam Speaker, I support.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I also raise my foot so that to add my voice to this motion of cash disbursement schedule, which was passed by the Finance Committee. I was one of the members who passed the schedule, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my concern is let Treasury not take this disbursement as a formal. This is a formality we normally do yearly. Let them not take that. It must be a binding document that make the Treasury to be on toes so that they can remit by 15 of every month, the way the schedule read, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the schedule, I realize the highest counties paid is one of them is Mandera County. Madam Speaker, if I take you through the schedule, July, the Mandera County received 993 M, that is million. August, 971 million. September, 1 billion. October, 1 billion. November, 1 billion. December, 981 million. January, 1 billion. February, 1 billion. March, 981 rather. April is 1.1 billion. May, 1 billion. June, 981 million. Madam Speaker, this shows that we are almost the highest figure. The total amount is 12.3 billion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm reading this because, Madam Speaker, in our area, nowadays there is lack of water. There is also an issue of healthcare system. Madam Speaker, I urge the counties to take priorities where it concerns the people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in this figure, if they have planned well, we urge that the county, Mandera specifically, that the issue of water will be answered and will be taken care of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a while ago, we are commenting about the healthcare, about overcrowding of the KNH, Madam Speaker. Most of the referral is from the county, which they themselves can handle. Madam Speaker, that shows that the counties nearby, they are not taking their proper role on the health sector. So I urge most of the counties to prioritize of the health center and the health facilities and the service delivery to the county. Madam Speaker, on this schedule, by 15th of every month, the Treasury must disburse money to the county. Because the county, specifically this recurrent expenditure, especially the salary, the staff of the counties, they need to be motivated. One thing to motivate them is by giving their dues on time. Because they have to pay their rents, they have to pay their foodstuffs, school fees, Madam Speaker. If the county delay their dues, Madam Speaker, where will they get their expenditure incurred, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, on this, when the county receive the money, let them not to use haphazardly. It's better they have to use priority. They have to put recurrent figure back, not to be used in any other issues. They have to pay their rent, their salaries, recurrent expenditure, so that their staffs can be motivated, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to talk to the Treasury, Madam Speaker. They are not supposed to hold the figure. They are saying the delay might be because of the collection of the revenue, Madam Speaker, by the KRA. Madam Speaker, if we put ourselves in that shoes, it might happen that the county cannot receive their money on dues on 15th. Mr. Speaker, we have to restrict that the latest by 15, the county must receive their due. So whatever the Treasury plan themselves, we don't want to know. The county must continue and get 15th of every month, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is a bill I created. I passed and the House dropped it because that bill is about impromptu payments. If at all, the county also engage in the contractors are supposed to pay on time. So in that scenario, the Treasury also must aware that they are supposed to pay the counties on time. In that bill, there is a legal mandate that penalties if you are not paid the figure, which will be accumulating. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, it has not gone through. If we will have passed and restrict the Treasury, that if it passes 15th of every month, there is a percentage of penalties. They will have, KRA will do all their best. By 15th of every month, they have the revenue, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if I take to e-procurement, Madam Speaker, in my thinking and also my understanding, the e-procurements can solve the issue of this elephant called pending bills, Madam Speaker. Because everything's before done, the procurements are normally before done under the carpets. Madam Speaker, now, if the county engage themselves in e-procurements, and everyone can see which contract has been given to so, there must be also, when it comes to payments, it is done on time. And this issue of pending bills will be done. And also the voiding of payments. Madam Speaker, sometimes the county, what happens is a county requests figure through controller of budgets, and when they wire the money to the counties, county pay different person, Madam Speaker. But when it comes to this system, the system shows that, as an example, Senator Muma, you have that figure, and it has been requested from the controller of budgets. When it comes to the county for your payments, they cannot pay another person. They have to pay you. Because it is in the system, it cannot be pay another person. So that means that this voiding of expenditure transactions will not appear, which always Auditor General always highlight in our financial system, financial reports. In the issue of also these e-procurement, I don't know why counties are against. Because if they are using IFMIS countrywide, why not e-procurement? What makes them not to use e-procurement if they are now using IFMIS in each county and nationally? Madam Speaker, with those all remarks, I support the motion. Thank you.
I don't see any more interest. I now wish to call the mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Senator of Mombasa, Senator Mwenyihaki Faki, who moved the motion, I beg to respond. Madam Speaker, I have sat through this debate from yesterday, and it is very clear that all members are contributing on a shared vision. And the vision I see is that all members want a system at the National Treasury that will make devolution a success. And if that is the case, the ball is still in our court, honorable members, in the sense that we must think long and hard on how to ensure that whatever instrument we create whatever instrument we create ends up making devolution effective and efficient. To my mind, we need to now move a bill in this House. And the bill should be a bill to make the National Treasury an independent office. Independent so that, Madam Speaker, it is not open to direction from the office of the President or any other office. Mr. Speaker, the biggest weakness we have today is that the Minister for National Treasury considers himself as part of the national government and not part of the county government. My mind is telling me, Madam Speaker, that if we make this minister independent and provide clearly in law that he will be sitting in the Council of Governors, 1. 2, he will be sitting in cabinet. 3, he will sit on the National Security Council, and that he will not be directed by the office of the president or any other minister. It will be a big step. And until we do this, counties will never be efficient. And then once we do that, we can then say, instead of this ritual, Senator Sifuna, of discussing here how the minister should be dispersing money, which is supposed to be automatic, we provide in the law that the money due to counties, once decided, and it has become a law through the DORA bill or the DORA Act, then it is available to county governments in 12 equal installments payable on the 15th day of the month. A rich country like Kenya cannot be able to raise 15% of its budget which is due to the county governments every month. It collects and collects even more. Madam Speaker, I am persuaded that this will be a very difficult thing to see through, especially with the limited cooperation that we have from the National Assembly, but that is the future of devolution. Madam Speaker, I therefore, as I hope to remain the member of the Finance Committee, hope that next year we will invite the Minister of the National Treasury to discourage him from asking us through this kind of industry where we are doing now, to be giving him discretion. We don't want him to have any discretion. Even if you don't like your governor, you like the people from your county. So it is to your own benefit as a senator that your governor succeeds, because in the process, our people benefit. Having made those passing remarks, I want to urge colleagues, you go and read around the Chancellor of the Exchequer as practiced in the United Kingdom. This is a special minister. In fact, they refer to them as His Majesty's Treasury Minister to the Crown. He is the fourth highest ranking member in government, because he controls the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom. We can borrow from this so that in Kenya, because we also have our own Commonwealth, we have this special office that will be efficient and effective so that devolution, which is the future of this country, can succeed. Having said that much, I respond and request that, Madam Speaker, due to obvious reasons, that the putting of the question understanding order number 66.3 be delayed to a later day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The putting of the question is so deferred. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025.
Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate adopt the report of the Select Committee on delegated legislation or its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulation Legal Notice number 114 of 2025, already on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 24th of 7th, 2025, and that pursuant to Section 59.4 of the Affordable Housing Act 2024, the Senate resolves to approve the affordable housing regulation, legal notice number 114 of 2025. Madam Honorable Speaker, the regulations are aimed at making sure that the Affordable Housing Act is operational according to Act number 2 of 2024, and providing the clarity on its implementation by providing the procedure and the criteria for allocation of affordable housing units, prescribing the requisite deposit for an affordable housing unit, 5% of the value of the unit, and providing for deposit assistance. They also outline the procedure to be followed in the event of default in repaying an allocated housing unit, the criteria for changing a unit, and the provision of low-interest loans for acquisition of units involved under this initiative, as well as the development of rural affordable housing units. Madam Speaker, the regulations are crucial to Kenyans in a number of ways, which I want to highlight. Madam Speaker, the regulations play a central role in the realization of socio-economic rights as enshrined in the Article 43(1) of B of the Constitution, which guarantees every person the right to accessible and adequate housing. The regulations are instrumental in achieving objectives under key national frameworks, including the Big Four Agenda, Vision 2030, and the Bottom-Up Economic Transformation Agenda, BETA, by enabling the development of affordable housing units to cover the 2,000 housing units in deficits. Madam Speaker, these regulations of affordable housing initiative generates extensive employment opportunities across the housing value chain, from construction to manufacturing, logistics, and financial services. It also stimulates demand for local building materials and services, thereby contributing to national economic growth and reducing poverty. Madam Speaker, the regulations as well of affordable housing, we have the classification of potential beneficiaries into distinct income bands, that is the social housing, affordable housing, and affordable middle class housing insurance targeted interventions, allowing for equitable allocation of housing units based on needs and income capacity. So, Madam Speaker, that is not enough. There is also the provision of subsidized and low interest mortgages financing. It's a transformative element of the housing regulations. By lowering the cost of borrowing, the regulations make it possible for most Kenyans to access long-term home financing, enhance affordability, and significantly reduce the financial burden of home ownership. Madam Speaker, although the Cabinet Secretary erroneously submitted that draft regulations to the Senate instead of the published regulations and failed to adhere to Section 59(3) of the Affordable Housing Act, number 2 of 2024, which requires the Cabinet Secretary to table the regulations before Parliament within 30 days of commencement of the Act, that is by 21st of April 2024, the Act commenced on 22nd March 2024. Majority of the committee was of view that the Cabinet Secretary has given sufficient responses to these issues, and that the regulations had fulfilled the substantial requirement of the Statutory Instruments Act and the Affordable Housing Act, and as such, substantive justice must not be overridden by technicalities. And the regulations fulfill the requirement of the Statutory Instruments Act Cap 2A as follows. Pursuant to Section 11(1), the regulations were submitted to the Clerk of the Senate within 7 days of publication. Pursuant to Section 5A, the regulations were submitted to the Senate along with a copy of the explanatory memorandum, setting out, among others, proof of public participation. There was also evidence of the call for public participation in MyGov, as well as newspaper of national circulation was submitted, and in accordance with Section 6, a regulatory impact assessment was submitted as the regulations imposed cost on the community. Madam Speaker, arising from this observation, observation on these regulations, the committee recommends that the House approves the Affordable Housing Regulation 2025, legal notice number 114 of 2025, pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act, number 2 of 2025, and Section 11(4) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 224. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the members of the committee for their diligence and insightful during the consideration of these regulations. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I wish to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate for the support according to the committee during consideration of these regulations. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Section 294 of the Affordable Housing Act number 2 of 2004, it is now my present duty to present the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on the consideration of the Affordable Housing Legislation 2025, legal notice number 114 of 2025. And I beg my very good Senator Romenen to second.
Senator Lomenen.
Madam Speaker, in due respect, I support the motion by Senator Moa Fire. Madam Speaker.
Order, Senator. Who is Senator Moa Fire? You want to...
Senator Kataya. I do call him Moa Fire.
More fire.
More fire. More fire.
Proceed, Senator, for Turkana.
Yes. Madam Speaker, the resolutions passed by my respective senator, the report creates job employment in the nation, Madam Speaker. And then, Madam Speaker, it also creates a social development in our nation. I bring a case study. We have been just hearing, Madam Speaker, of housing. But recently, we met it in reality in Turkana County, where more than 2,000 houses has been planned to be built, especially in new institutions that are created in that area. Imagine, Madam Speaker, we were very happy as leaders of the county to receive such houses in area like Kibich, which is the farthest corner of this continent or this nation, where when we some 2 years ago, Madam Speaker, even police officers, police personnel could not even afford house, a room. They were just staying in primary schools that are not even standardized. So, Madam Speaker, the issue of housing makes sure those who are incapable of getting housing are now happier than before. So, Madam Speaker, it is a reality to respect the Constitution, that Article 43 of saying that every Kenyans have a right of housing, access housing. It is real in this motion, Madam Speaker. And I believe if well implemented without any reservation, Madam Speaker, the nation, our citizens will enjoy the housing implementation. So thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Senator Khalwade. No. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, and that pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act 2024, the Senate resolves to approve the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025. Senator Khalwade.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a rare opportunity that Parliament will be speaking on the issue of housing. and it's unfortunate that colleagues are too committed in their offices at the moment, we want to talk about housing. Because on social media, in the print media, main and alternative, in social joints, people are talking about housing. Why? Because people are contributing towards financing this project. How I wish more of us would be here to participate. And I hope that this discussion goes beyond today so that colleagues can share with the rest of us what their thoughts are. And I want to start, Madam Speaker, by confirming that I support the report. And I want to recall that under the new constitution, 2013 to 2017, when Mwai Kibaki was president, what defined his presidency, Madam Speaker, sorry, I'm getting wrong. From the time of the old dictatorship, when Mwai Kibaki took over in 2002, what defined President Mwai Kibaki's presidency were just two things. He succeeded, Madam Speaker, in rolling out free primary education. It was a huge success. It was a masterpiece, and we shall never forget Kibaki for that gift to the generation of young Kenyans who benefited. Two, President Mwai Kibaki was able to practice as much as possible zero tolerance to corruption, enough for the country to be proud of, to be a working nation, and it resulted into our economy achieving an unprecedented growth of 7.2%. Madam Speaker, we shall remember Kibaki. And thanks for this, we were able actually to build the Thika superhighway. Out moved Kibaki, in came Uhuru, and Uhuru, despite the confusion that was around the Jubilee government and all the noise, Uhuru built the standard gauge rail line and went on and built the express highway here in Nairobi, Madam Speaker, plus the other roads that he touched here and there. In comes President Ruto. To me, it is starting to look like what will define President Ruto will be the success of the housing project. And therefore, Parliament, if we want successive governments to succeed, we should help. We smoothen, we file the rough edges of this housing project so that it succeeds. Madam Speaker, I am not persuaded that absorption of the funds that are recovered from Kenyans and meant to construct housing is poor to the extent that those funds, we hear, without serious confirmation, that they are now being invested in treasury bonds. It means we are overtaxing Kenyans. We should just have taxed them enough for us to be able to absorb. It is an opportunity that we should now speak to so that we move from the 1.5 to something lower, so that the money which is taxed from Kenyans, it leaves them comfortable and it ends up being absorbed 100%. Who knows, honorable colleagues, whoever will come after President Ruto might find a slush fund in the monies that will have been saved because of failure to absorb, and then that money is just taken to another project altogether or abused by a president who, after succeeding President Ruto, be it in 2027 or 2032, who will not be sharing his vision on housing. It is something that must concern us. Madam Speaker, it's important that maybe through an amendment of the Act or through these regulations, we should now be clearer on who benefits from these houses. I'm starting to see a red light. You saw when our athletes did very well at, was it called Chan? The championship where we did very well. You saw all of a sudden they received a gift of houses. Is this the way we want to do it? That money contributed by Kenyans and then is used to give out houses as gifts? If that is the case, how will the people of the ones who vote for you in Mathare, yes, how are they assured that they will deserve a gift? It should not be a question of gifts. It should be a question of deserving. What's more, I saw, dear colleagues, 10,000 teachers at State House, and the issue of housing was on the table. Is that the way we want to do it? Let's think about it. We help the government, we help the president by giving him enabling legislation that will save him from the urge to have that discretion. Madam Speaker, with due respect, we want houses to be fast-tracked. But we want to do it better. Where you are born, not where you come from. You know that in Bushiangala village, a primary school teacher, if you give him one of the flats in Kakamega, that primary school teacher will say, thank you very much, but he will never stay in that house. Instead, he's going to rent it out. Which is a good thing. But was that the objective of affordable housing? Was the objective of affordable housing to be given to successful football players? Was it? Can you convince Kenyans at Nyayo Stadium, at Kasarani, that continue contributing part of your salary so that at some time when a Kenya does something extraordinary, he's gifted? That's not how governments are run. No. And, Madam Speaker, we have an adult responsibility in this country to say these things. Because if we don't get it right, the country becomes unstable. We all remember when we were insensitive to the voices of the Holoi Polloi on the infamous finance bill of 2024. We almost got killed here on the 25th of June. So let us be sensitive to what the public is saying. I never agree to Amunyoro. And I find it very difficult to agree with him because of his tribalistic mindedness. But the one thing that I think Munyoro gets right is that listen to the people. We must listen to the people. I saw, Madam Speaker, a survey which I have reason to believe that it is credible. And Kenyans were being asked, do you impress or don't you impress broad-based government? A whooping 70, what? Somebody remember? A whooping 78 said no. 68% said no. That is too high in any scientific research. So if Kenyans are saying they don't want broad-based government, they are saying, let us respect to the constitution, the people in the opposition, Idiot Sifuna, Beatrice, you leave our committees to chair our committees, you go back and play your role as elected leaders on the opposition. That is what that Tifa poll was saying. Madam Speaker.
What's your point about the Senator's
Don't quarrel me.
Senator Cherargei, please. Yeah. Senator Sifuna, what's your point about it?
Honorable Speaker, with tremendous respect to the Senator from Kakamega, pursuant to Standing Order 105 on statement of fact, I have been more than clear that I do not recognize anything called broad-based government. Yes. I am not part of it. Why does he keep dragging me and my good name into these conversations all the time, and yet it is not factual that I have abandoned my role as an opposition legislator? Can he withdraw that statement and that reference to me? And Honorable Speaker, kindly, for the sake of order in the House, guide Honorable Khalwale that it is possible to just make submissions without every single time and every single opportunity you get throwing jibes at your colleagues.
Senator Khalwale, that is self-explanatory. Please withdraw.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, in fact, the Senator of Nairobi is more than 100% right. And I wouldn't want to drag your name in mud, especially given the fact that I'm your elder from the community and I have a responsibility to hold your hand the way Michael Kijana Wamalu held my hand when I came to this parliament. By referring to you, I did it wrongly. I was thinking about the Orange Democratic Movement, and because you are the Secretary General. Correct. I know you are very clear, you have nothing to do with broad-based government. In fact, it reminded me yesterday when you were challenging me that you have no idea which party I belong to.
Senator Khalwale, would you just withdraw what
Yes,
you said
yes.
if you are withdrawing and move on with your...
Madam Speaker, I want to calm him so that he doesn't feel that...
He is extremely calm, as I can see.
You are now calm. Bas, that's what I wanted. I don't want him to sleep thinking that the grandfather of his daughter is a problem to him. Madam Speaker.
Senator Khalwale, you are just squandering your own time. Please focus on what you were saying.
Madam Speaker.
Can you withdraw the allegation that Cherargei is paid to harass you? Let's
Madam
focus.
Speaker, but he has not complained. If he had complained, then there would be reason. He's taken it in his stride. The debater he is. A grandchild of John Maria Sarney from Nandi.
Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order? I wish the two of you would realize how much time you're taking off a very important debate. Proceed with your point of order.
Madam Speaker, I raise understanding order 105 on accuracy of fact. Senator Khalwale has alleged that I get paid to attack him. That is far from the truth. Can he withdraw and apologize?
Senator Khalwale, would you...
Madam Speaker, I withdraw and apologize.
Thank you. Proceed with the debate.
In our other life,
don't qualify what you have said.
Thank you. In our other life, we shall pursue it with him. Madam Speaker, it concerns me that we have no comparative value for the cost of doing projects. Building houses has a cost. When you just think randomly, the expressway highway was built at 63 billion shillings. Thika Superhighway was built at, Madam Speaker, 27 billion shillings. It means, Madam Speaker, $1 billion is a big thing. And on a day like this, when we are talking about quantum, the systems that the government is using to manage our economy, including the latest introduction of electronic banking, specifically e-citizen. When we hear that e-citizen, the Auditor General, is saying in writing that 11 billion shillings is gone. Gone where? When we hear that one person, not two people, one person earns a convenience convenience fee from transaction of e-citizen, he earns 50 million shillings per month, one person who we know because his name has been stated. The young man must truly be smiling all the way to the bank. Parliament functioning as it is, let us stop this theft through e-citizen. Let us stop the theft through inflation of projects. With this, Madam Speaker, if we achieve it, then the housing project is going to be a game changer. As I saw, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it escaped you, a report in Tanzania during the ongoing presidential campaign. The president was being challenged that you are telling us that you are going to fix street lights, that Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, our cities will be lit. And yet in Kenya, the president is building houses. You can see how far we are. So if we push this housing and get it done very well, we'll be way, way ahead of all other East African community economies. Look, it is projected that in the next financial year, the economy of Ethiopia will be ahead of Kenya at 15.6. It will grow, and Kenya will grow by 15. Why would Ethiopia, a country which is struggling with democracy, a country that is struggling with stability, struggling with national cohesion, doesn't have a good constitution like ours, doesn't have a well thought out, devolved system like ours, should leapfrog us? Why? They go, they do a dam there, we sing in praise of them, and yet we can't fix our dams on River Tana. We wait like we are waiting now when the rain season comes in for water to disturb people in Tana River. Families will be unsettled, property will be destroyed, life will be lost. And all we need to do is to dam the Tana River. You dam it, you make it more productive. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for this nice report and hope that Parliament will help the executive to succeed. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to be very clear that I stand to oppose these regulations in the report by the committee recommending that we support them. Senator Mofaya knows that I have a lot of respect for him, but I have reasons, Honorable Speaker, why I think that should be the position. I speak as a stakeholder here. I pay over 30,000 shillings every single month, an involuntary deduction that I opposed with all my strength, Honorable Speaker, but was overruled. And therefore, this fund already has my money. Number two, Nairobi City County is perhaps the scene of the largest such construction of the so-called affordable houses. And our people are actually the most affected, Honorable Speaker. The basis of my objection to the recommendation of the committee is twofold. Firstly, it's procedural matters, Honorable Speaker. There is a reason Secretary shall, outside of that time. I am not convinced by the explanation that has been given by the committee. It was his responsibility. It is dereliction of duty. This is one of the most prominent projects of this administration. There is no way you can tell me that the Ministry of Housing would miss that deadline. I am not convinced, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee also accepts that in violation of the law, the law requires that the Cabinet Secretary shall submit published regulations. In fact, the regulations that were sent to Parliament were draft regulations. Now, the committee led by Mofaya is telling me, a lawyer who knows the meaning of the word shall and its implications, to ignore the fact that the Cabinet Secretary sent to Parliament draft regulations. It is unacceptable, Honorable Speaker, from where I stand. Honorable Speaker, we are required to approve or reject these regulations within 15 sitting days. The committee there has noted in their own report that those days were to expire on 11th of September. You should have at least struggled or tried to explain to the House whether it was because of the amendment of the calendar that was moved by the majority leader during the impeachment. At the very minimum, please, Senator Gataya, explain to us, because according to my calendar, unless the committee has a different one, today is way past the 11th of September. And, Madam Speaker, that is significant for one reason. The law states that if we don't reject within that period, these things stand approved. So I'm standing here wondering, am I, once again, majority leader, engaging myself in an exercise in futility? And that would be an egregious violation of my constitutional responsibility to go through these regulations for the sake of the people who elected me. Honorable Speaker, one of the final things, procedural ones that I thought I would bring up, there was something else. I think I'll see it, yes. Honorable Speaker, when a law says that when you're passing or bringing legislation or regulations, you publish them in a newspaper of nationwide circulation, it means exactly that. A newspaper of nationwide circulation. Now, everybody knows what the word newspaper means. Everybody knows what wide circulation means. It cannot be stuck somewhere in there in a government supplement or releases from the ministries. Honorable Speaker, the ministry has told us that instead of putting this advertisement in a newspaper such as the Daily Nation, which everybody knows in this country is a newspaper of wide circulation, or the Standard, or both. In fact, the practice I have seen is that when it comes to serious legislation, you put them in both of those newspapers. What they have done, Honorable Speaker, is to circulate this thing in a publication that I personally never read because I consider it illegal and unconstitutional, an affront to the freedom of media. They call it MyGov. Honorable Speaker, if you consider the history of that publication called MyGov, it was out of a desire to punish media houses that were not playing the tune that some of these friends of ours these days sing in public barazas and markets. It was to deny revenue, government revenue, to the mainstream newspapers as a way of making them bend to the will of government. Honorable Speaker, that was the invention of this thing called MyGov. It is tucked in the Tuesday edition of the Star. The Tuesday edition of the Star. I can assure you, my mother did not see that publication. And she's a mother of a very well-learned senator. Down there in the village in Kitinda, she didn't see it. But I am sure she read the Tuesday edition of the Daily Nation that day. So the explanation that is given, Honorable Speaker, is that there was a directive of government that government advertisements be carried in this publication. The question I'm asking myself, Honorable Mwenda Gataya, can a directive of government, which is basically what these things, what do they call them? I see them issued from State House from time to time. It's executive fiat. Can it override a requirement of the law for you to publish these regulations or the law in newspapers of nationwide circulation? And my answer to that is no. Madam Speaker, I am done with the procedural problems that I have with this particular report and with these regulations. Let's go to the substance, the actual provisions. So, according to the report of the committee, these particular regulations are the ones that are supposed to operationalize the Affordable Housing Act. It is supposed to provide for a procedure and criteria for allocation. Now, if you read the regulations, the Act itself has a board. They have said that the procedure for allocation of these particular affordable houses is you must make an electronic application to the board. The criteria is set there. So some of the issues that were being raised by Senator Khalwale, if indeed we put in place in a law a board to be able to be the ones to determine who gets these units of housing, how can anyone else, it doesn't matter their position in the structure of government, be the one allocating houses? And I speak painfully because this is my money. And the initial argument, Honorable Speaker, was that those of us who make an income contributing to this fund so that the people on the lower echelons of society in Mukuru can be able to afford these houses. Are we still serving those people, or these affordable houses paid for by my money very painfully, Honorable Speaker, are available for donations because of someone sitting in the office of head of state? He can decide today that Faith Kipyegon deserves a 2-bedroom house. Faith Kipyegon, for all her glory, surely, you know, she cannot be described as a poor person. She doesn't live in Mukuru. She doesn't live in Mukuru. Why would we pass a law? Why couldn't we just say, this fund is now going to be run from State House, and he will decide and determine who gets these affordable houses at whim? Secondly, Honorable Speaker, they have provided for a requirement for a deposit of 5% of the unit price. I have a problem, and the people of Mukuru, the people of Mathare, the people of Kibra in Nairobi have told us, because in Nairobi, as a county government, we are also undertaking affordable housing schemes, and because of the intervention of this Senate, and especially the Senate Housing Committee, we have made sure that there is no requirement for a deposit when you get a unit of an affordable house under the Nairobi County government. Because we know our people. We know our people, Senator Khalwale. They cannot afford 5% of, I don't know what is the cost of a 2-bedroom house in the new Mukuru. Honorable Speaker, they cannot afford. No wonder. Many of them, even after getting into those houses, are selling those houses, are renting them out, and going back to the slum. They are going back to the slum. Madam Speaker, that requirement of a deposit does not make sense to me, because we have already contributed amounts. We have already contributed amounts. I think I've been contributing for over a year now. Can my money be used as deposit for the people of Mukuru? I am never going to apply for those houses. They were not meant for people like me. I have a parliamentary scheme here. I have a house. Honorable Speaker, this one, on behalf of the people of Nairobi, I have to say no. Then they go and create something called deposit assistance, which basically is to tell you that they will give you a loan to get the deposit. They will give you a loan to get the deposit. Senator Gataya, if, for instance, people who have been contributing and actually wanted, a teacher in Buruburu wanted to apply for this house, they have already been paying. They have already been paying. Why are you asking them for a deposit? Then you go and give them a loan. And they have structured, Honorable Speaker, interest bands that depending on how much money you earn. I have a big problem there, because, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the report of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, there are only 387,000 Kenyans as of 2023 who earn over 100,000 shillings. And this figure is critical, Honorable Speaker, for various reasons. You will see there that in these regulations, there are 3 categories of houses. Social housing, which is for people who earn less than 20,000 shillings per month. Then there's something they are calling affordable housing, 20 for people who earn between 20 and 140,000 shillings per month. Then there's this thing called affordable middle income housing for people who earn over 150,000 Kenya shillings. Out of a population of 55 million people, only 387 as of 2023 earn above 100,000 shillings. You are telling us you are reeling off 200 units per year. Who are you building these houses for? Who are these people you're building these houses for? If you did, of course, they have never even scratched the surface on that promise of 200,000 annually. But, Honorable Speaker, if they build those 200,000 houses in 1 year, and another financial year they build 200,000 so that we have a total of 400,000, the people who would be able to afford those houses would already be exhausted, because the number is at 387,000 people only who can afford these houses. we have problems. We have problems with this.
Senator Sifuna, can you be informed?
No, I am teaching. Honorable Speaker, I'm in the middle of imparting information. Please don't.
Proceed.
What do you want to inform me? You will have your own opportunity to be able to do this. Honorable Speaker, please, I don't like to be interrupted. This is what they do. Now, Honorable Speaker, there is another provision that I have a problem with, and that if you apply to the board.
What's your point of order, Senator Mopai?
Madam Speaker, you know for a fact there is no point of order. It's one of those frivolous attempts to derail debate. Let him
raise the point of order.
Madam Speaker, I want Senator Sifuna to withdraw and apologize. Though the much I know about this house is a house of registrators. This is a house of debate. I have not captured any student in the front of this house, so nobody is being taught. So as much as I have a lot of respect for Senator Sifuna is debating just like any other registrar in the house. Also, I don't think whether there is any student in this house to be taught.
Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I'll proceed to make the point that I was making. My next point about the deposit, Honorable Speaker, the provisions of the regulations are that if you pay that deposit, for instance, and your application is rejected by the board, do you know the regulations say that they don't give you back your money? They take it into something that they are calling a voluntary savings account. I was not giving the deposit so that I save money. I wanted a house. So if you are unable to allocate this unit to me, give me back my money. I can go and do other things with it. Regulation number on interest, Honorable Speaker, they have set interest on that loan that I talk about between 9% and 3%. Now, let us come to the regulation on consent to sell. Consent to sell. That, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, if you buy this unit and you run into financial ruin, for instance, you are unable to keep up with the payments and you want to sell it, you have to ask for permission to sell the unit. You have to ask for permission from this same board. And, Honorable Speaker, the problem there is that if it is tied to another regulation on default, if you default for 2 consecutive months, the board takes back possession of that unit. That is what the regulations you want us to pass are saying. Honorable Speaker, as far as I know, as a student of law and somebody who understands the Constitution, you cannot interfere with property rights, my ability to own and dispose property, by frivolous regulations such as this. If I run into financial ruin, now, for instance, Honorable Speaker, a member of the family is diagnosed with a serious disease like cancer, we are all raising money. I have a unit sitting here, and we need money. You are telling me I need to go to somebody else to get consent to sell that house because of extraneous circumstances. And by the way, these regulations also provide that all decisions of this board, you have to, again, ask for what they call review from the same board. And that provision on review of the decisions of the board also goes ahead to specify the only grounds you can raise a point of review with the board. What sort of regime is that? What sort of regime is that? So therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to submit that this particular provision on consent to sell a unit is unconstitutional. And then they require that you can only apply for that consent to sell after 5 years of completion of payment. They also regulate the price. The regulations regulate the price that at that point when they have told you now you can sell, they have fixed a price for you that you can only sell that unit at prevailing market rates. If I am able to convince Halwale to pay 10 million on a unit that is the prevailing market rate is 5 million, you will tell me no. This violates the concept of willing buyer, willing seller. Perhaps Halwale likes this unit so much and there's enough demand on the unit, they are willing to pay more. How can you tell me that I cannot get more money if I am able to persuade Halwale, Senator Halwale, to pay more? So therefore, Honorable Speaker, I personally have big problems with this affordable housing scheme. I thought it was very poorly thought out. It is actually punitive on the small population of people who actually have a pay slip in this country. I was in Funyula with the Honorable Oundo in Busia County. In the middle of Busia, not even at the town, in the town, somewhere deep there in the rural areas. Yes. Yeah, I saw they are building 12 floors. And Honorable Speaker, the good thing is that you come from the same region as I do. Where I come from, Honorable Speaker, if your chicken cannot get into that place, you also cannot get in there and sleep there. Because there is no chicken that lives on 12th floor. And this is, we live with chicken, you know, for us. They are considered family. So I was looking at those units in Funyula. I was wondering, who are these people? Who are the people who are targeted to stay in these units? And maybe Senator from Busia, the Honorable Okiya Omtata, can shed light and tell us who are those units meant for. And when you speak to the people in that area, how they wish all that concrete was a hospital, how they wish all that concrete was a school, how they wish, Honorable Speaker, that concrete was something that they actually needed. Because the problem with this affordable housing scheme is that it does not prioritize our needs. The reason why somebody would be given a unit in Mukuru and go back to the slum is because the priority of that person is to eat. The priority of that person is education. The priority of that person is health care. But because this government knows why it prioritizes houses, they will tell you. They will tell you, Honorable Speaker, the people supplying material for that construction, the people supplying sand, the people supplying cement, they are more than happy to build those things. It doesn't matter whether people will ever own them or live with them, because they will already have been paid and they will disappear. That is all that this affordable housing is about. It's about making money for cronies of people in